Oh, hi, honeys. How are you? Tanyanishailoc here, and of course, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you guys? I hope that you are fine, amazing, and popping. Welcome back to another video. So, before starting up actually any business in Kampala, Uganda, here, there are different 5 questions that are frequently asked by any entrepreneur. So in today's vlog, I'm going to be sharing all the different answers to all those different questions that are frequently asked by any entrepreneur before he or she actually starts up a business here in Kampala, Uganda, in order to maintain and increase profits, strengthen customer services, and reduce on maintenance expenses. So actually, this brings me to the first question. This is how hard and expensive is it to obtain a residency permit in Uganda? So I believe that it is not that hard as long as you follow the right way of how to actually get that residency permit. And I believe that there is a particular cascade of different ways that you can go about this. In the first place, I want to tell you that it is not hard. Then the second thing, it is not also that expensive. At least some of the requirements actually you have to have, it is that the visa application form. Then you can also have documentation that actually satisfy you from your previous location. And those documentations actually have to truly identify you as that particular person. And then another thing that actually I want to talk about is that there are also business visas that run for about 3 months, that is around 90 days. So you have to also know that, so that when you don't have yet a residency permit, you can go in always and always to renew so that you can go for other 3 months and other 3 months as you go into to process your permit or your residency permit. Then the other thing I want to talk about is how expensive it is. So it is about $200, and that is about 400, 500, I believe around 400, 500 or 600 Ugandan shillings, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to actually process that particular document. All the documentations have to be valid, truly satisfying you from where you are coming from. If it's a company you are actually working for, you also have to present various documentations that satisfy you as part of the employee or employer of that particular company, and that most of the time it also speeds up the process of obtaining that particular residency permit within the country. The other way, it is all about presenting documentations to satisfy that you have a very serious relationship or a spouse with any of a Ugandan, and most of the time it also helps, or it speeds up a residency permit, which can give you a lot of opportunities to be actually able to open up various businesses and reduce on different taxes that are not charged on Ugandans, which are yet charged on foreigners or non-Ugandans who have the same businesses. The second question is all about how to actually obtain a business license, for example, for a restaurant here in Kampala, Uganda. So the best way how to actually obtain this, it is through, according to the laws that actually govern my country generally and a lot of other different countries, you are actually not supposed to operate any business, especially when it comes to food stuff, without a license, especially confirmed by the healthy official or health minister or something like that, So that's the first thing you have to know. But they give you a particular period of time of around 28 days, operating as you try to process your license. So it is always a very, very good way to introduce yourself to the municipal council authority of the particular location you are in. For example, if you are in Kampala in a particular division, for example, when you are in Chadondo division, make sure that you introduce yourself and your business to that particular authority or that particular council so that they can register you in their books. And within the 28 days that you are going to be actually operating, they are processing for you a license. So these licenses also actually based on different prices, for example, the normal one for a normal restaurant that is actually not a very broad big restaurant, that is around 150,000 Ugandan shillings. 150,000 Ugandan shillings, I'm going to be converting it in dollar currency on screen right now. For a relatively bigger restaurant or a relatively bigger wholesale business, the estimation is around 360,000 Ugandan shillings. I'll also be popping it on screen. And some of other requirements that you have to have, especially when it comes to a foreigner, you have to have your passport, your passport number, either your driving license, either your voter's card, such important documents to certify that actually you are the real person. So sometimes they can also go in to ask for a certificate of incorporation, but it's not very, very often. Most of the time what they require, it is a document to certify you, your names and where you are coming from, to just identify you as a person. Then second of all, the name of your business, which particular division it is in and which particular district. Then they can also add in some other information such as tax information. Most of the time this tax information is included on the amount of money I've recently told you, but it bases on how big your business is. If it's a corporation or a company and it has a lot of different branches, expect a little bit of higher prices, expect a little bit of other documentations that they might ask from you. So this brings me to the next question. This is all about how much rent to expect for a good business. The reason why I'm using restaurants, it's because the person who actually sent me these particular questions, she niched it down because she wants to start up a restaurant here in Kampala, Uganda. So I would first of all recommend that you get aware of which particular district you actually want to open up that particular restaurant in. You know that different districts actually call for different costs of living. So, for example, here in Kampala, Uganda, the cost of living is slightly high compared to Entebbe, compared to Mpigi district, compared to Masaka, and that calls for higher rent. If that makes sense, you are going to find that a shop or a space here in Kampala, Uganda, that you would have rented around 300,000 Ugandan shillings, in somewhere in Entebbe, it is going to be way much cheaper than that. So it goes back to you to get the location that you actually want to open in the particular business, know the cost of living, do your research about it, then you can go in to look for a favorable place. And that favorable place has to come with the people around, because we don't want to open up a business, for example, a restaurant business in an area which actually has limited people. We want to open up a restaurant in an area which has favorable market, so you have to also look into that. When it comes to the estimation of money that actually you can spend on rent monthly, according to my estimation here in Kampala, Uganda, you will go from around 100 to somewhere 200 US dollars. That is around 350,000 Ugandan shillings for a good place, to around even 700,000 Ugandan shillings. But we have other factors which are kept constant within that amount of money. I think you know that. Next question says that is it possible to actually open up a beauty shop, then you also do a makeup studio, steamer, and a sauna in the same place? So all these things are very, very possible at the same time. But I also want to argue that beauty shops are one of the most amazing, favorable ways to actually make money here in Kampala, Uganda recently. And I don't see in my mind another business that actually makes mad money as beauty shops like recently, according to my experience with the business, according to the research I've done about the business. I think it's one of the most amazing ways to make money recently in Kampala, and it always carries a lot of sense when you add in a little bit of a makeup artist to actually come in and maybe educate your clients about using the different makeup products that you are selling. I just look at it as added advantage, and most of the time those are the small things that call back customers, and actually those customers tell other people to actually come buy from your beauty shop. So I did make a detailed video about beauty shops. I'm going to be linking that in the description box below. Hopefully you can go watch that immediately after this to get a little bit of a gist about that particular business. But when it comes to steamers and saunas, those two things I've not seen them very common in Kampala, Uganda, and I believe that they don't have a lot of market. And according to our target, we are looking out for a business that we can actually do, and it has a good market, and it is going to yield profits in the shortest time possible. According to my research and according to my presence here, I don't think that business, I think that it works very well, especially when it comes to areas with gyms and such, recreation centers. But when you are going to intermix all of those four things in the same thing, you have to be ready to take a little bit much more risks. Though risks are very good when it comes to businesses, but I believe that you can always start with a beauty shop, with a makeup artist or a makeup studio. Then you can go on and look into the market, what really they want. Then if you actually find out what really they want, especially when you are consulting your customers, that can give you a go ahead either to add in the saunas and steamers or to wait for that. Actually, this brings me to the last question. The last question is all about what are the different struggles, especially when it comes to businesses here in Kampala, Uganda, they do face. First, hands off, I want to talk about ignorance. I believe that ignorance is one of the hugest struggles that a lot of entrepreneurs suffer from, especially when it comes to Uganda here. A lot of people, most of the time, they don't take time to actually study their market, what they really want, and most of the time it affects the demand and the supply of either a service or presence of a particular business. And then the second thing is all about poor planning. Poor planning also hugely affects a lot of different businesses currently in Kampala, Uganda, because if you don't know, most of the time our markets, they tend to fluctuate almost in every sector, besides the sector of food, but also sometimes it actually tends to fluctuate. So if you don't have a good plan ahead of what to do next and what to do in that particular moment, most of the time it can lead to your business to actually backslide. So poor planning is also another struggle that a lot of Ugandan entrepreneurs do face. The other problem is all about poor problem approach, especially when it comes to technical problems. Most of the time it can hugely affect demand and supply, obviously. So most of the time, if you don't have this particular good resolved skills of solving different abrupt problems, especially when it comes to balancing books, when it comes to different damages, risks and all that, most of the time it can affect either or both sides of the curve, especially for the demand and supply curve. And then the other thing I want to talk about is all about competition. Competition is general, especially when it comes to a lot of different businesses, but the way how you handle competition, especially here in some businesses, actually I've looked at, most of the time people don't know how to handle competition in the best way possible to get the best out of it. So most of the time that can also hugely affect their businesses, because the solution to competition is increasing on the quality of what you are providing to your market. Most of the time people, they don't do that, and they opt to investing in other different things that are actually not the main demand of their market. Then the other thing is all about capital, inadequate capital. Most of the time, especially business entrepreneurs, they face that problem a lot here in Kampala, Uganda. Capital, most of the time, it tends to fluctuate in a lot of different ways, and it ends up affecting their planning for their businesses, rent, other utilities, buying in bulk, a lot of different struggles elsewhere in the world that business entrepreneurs do face, added on to those ones I've just mentioned out. They are the commonest ones, Thank you very much, you guys, for watching this vlog. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Let me know in the comment section below what you have thought of it from start to finish. I believe that I've answered most of those different questions that are very, very prompting when it comes to businesses or running businesses here in Kampala, Uganda. If you do your research very, 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 very absolutely well, there is no business that can fail you. I believe that every business that we do and we engage in, if it fails in one way or another, it's a lesson and a ladder for the next business. Until we meet next time, tanyanishailoc switching out. Bye for now.